Hi, my name is Khotazo, and in this video, I'll be showing you all the different types of resources you can discuss with other students and how we have tried making it simple to get exactly what you are looking for in the shortest time possible. Part of being a student entails being able to discuss the content learned outside the confines of the lecture halls. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this has proven to be difficult as learning and teaching activities on campus are restricted, and so is physical human interaction. With the November exams just around the corner, we know how hard it gets finding past assessments to discuss with your friends. There are many great Q&A platforms available on the internet, but the one which stood out for us is Stack Overflow. We believe that they are doing an excellent job for developers to ask questions and get answers as quickly as possible. It should not come as a surprise when you notice that our roots come from them. We have designed and built our question and answer feature with your qualification and modules in mind. Okay, let's get started. I've already logged in and I'll head over to my modules to view INF 214's content. Alright, so go ahead and select INF 214 and view its content. We have designed the module's homepage with two things in mind. Firstly, we try to separate unrelated data and group-related data. The end goal for this is to help you get exactly what you're looking for and easily notice if what you're looking for is not available. The second design rule was to minimize the time required to access anything. Okay? Alright, so let's get started with past papers. Since your exams are just around the corner. Okay, so you will note that each and every paper that we have over here has the date associated with it. This is the date of the administration, when the actual paper was taken. All right, and we've sorted the date so that you'll know that the one on top is the most recent one, and the one at the bottom is the oldest paper that we have in our system. Okay. Let's say, for instance, that a specific paper that you are not looking for is not listed on our platform. Then you can just go ahead and upload the paper if you have it on your system. Alright? So you just go ahead and select the paper from your computer or your laptop. And then if you also have the memo, and then you just go ahead and also select the memo. Only if you have it. If you do not have that memo, then you can just select the past paper. And our team will process the paper and have it listed for you in no time, so that you can start asking questions to other students. Alright, so now let's say that in this case you have found a specific paper and you'd like to start asking questions for that specific paper. Let's say that you wanted to ask, maybe to start preparing for semester test, the semester test which was administered on the 14th of April 2015. Right, so go ahead and select that, and you will see that as you hover through each and every question, there's the ask question button over on the right hand side. But I'll come back to that in just a minute. I'd like us to scroll all the way to the bottom. Okay, and the bottom section of each and every question paper that we have on the system contains metadata information about that question paper. So very important information that might be of interest to you. Okay. Some of this information, for instance, it will tell you if the question paper is a memo. If the question paper, another option is that if the question paper is not complete, it will mention that, and also it will mention if the question paper includes an external memo. Okay, and then if you'd like to download this question paper, so you can go ahead and click this button and download the question paper. If there was a memo present in the system, then you'll have an option also. If there was a memo for this specific question paper, you will have an option to download that specific memo. Alright, so I'll go ahead and download the memo, the question paper, so that we can actually understand how it works. Alright, once the question paper has downloaded, I'll just open it, and I just want to show you something. So you will note that it is a memo, as the system has mentioned, and for section A, there's question 1 all the way to question 6. Right, and if you come back to the platform, you will note that section A, there's question 1 all the way to question 6. This is in line with our second design rule. Remember that our second design rule is to minimize the time required to access whatever you're looking for. So we wanted to find a way to separate all the questions and answers for each and every paper, and we thought that maybe if we can separate them by question, this way you will always know the question that you're looking for and answers that you're looking for, right? So at the moment, there's 0 questions asked for section A. And if you go back to the question paper, you will know that there's a multiple choice question. So we'll just maybe, the answer that has been selected in this case was complex entity, alright? So maybe let's say you're going through this question paper and you do not understand why they selected complex entity as the correct answer. So then you go ahead to the system and you can then ask a question. So you can ask a question by clicking on anywhere on the section, or you can just click ask a question, alright? And then in order to ask a question, we need 2 important things from you. We need the question title, which will be shown to anyone who's skimming through the list of questions which are available, alright, if they'll be interested in answering that question for you. The second thing, we need some context about that question, right? And you must always write in a way that someone else will be able to understand you, in a way that maybe you might be asking a question to a fellow student, right? So I will just go ahead and say, I do not understand. This is just an example. I do not understand what is complex entity. What is a complex entity? Okay. And then as an example, maybe something that you might want to write as, why did they select complex entity as an answer? According to my understanding, the answer should be, this is just an example, bridge entity, alright? Bridge entity. And as you can see that our editor does provide you with normal editing tools that you might need. For instance, you can create a numbered list, an ordered list, you can create an unordered list, you can enter a link, you can insert a link as part of your question paper, as part of your question, in case you think that maybe in order for the person to answer your question, they might need to access this link, alright? You can create a heading, italics, bold, the code block also, or you can also enter a code block, alright? So for instance, let's say maybe I would like to say, I would like to highlight what I think the answer should have been. So I'll just go ahead and select that, make it bold. And before you send this question, if you'd like to preview it, you can just go ahead and preview that question, alright? And then you see the way it's going to be structured to other students, right? Once that is done, say for instance, maybe there's a need to add a question to this question, an image rather to this question, and this image will aid other students to be able to help you or give you an answer which is more appropriate, okay? So you can then just select an image. You can upload as many images as you'd like, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and select 2 images. I'll select this one and I'll select the other, alright? Remember that you can upload as many images as possible. So you'll add supporting images to my question. And my images has been added, alright? And then I'll go ahead, proofread, and once I'm satisfied with my question, then I'll send the question to the platform, right? Now, when other students log into the system, they will be able to see your question, and the way that they will be able to see it, I'll show you in a minute. But let's just go through some of the information that you might find here, right? Remember that I did mention that, or maybe you didn't hear this, but we get our roots from Stack Overflow, right? So we do have an option to, you won't be able to interact with these controllers since you just created this question, but then you can add a comment, okay? And comments are used in a way that it's not an answer, but it's just to add additional information to the question, or other students can add a comment to the specific question just so that they get more information from you, alright? On the other side, it shows your reputation, and reputation will be explained at a later stage, alright? So currently there are no answers in this question, alright? And I'll go ahead and log in with another student, and then I'll show you what they can do. If there's maybe there's a student who, or there's someone else who you know who might be able to answer this question for you, then you can just go ahead and share the link with them. Alright, so just copy the link and paste it or send it to that person, and then they'll be able to access this specific question for you. Right. Now, let's say for instance that you have asked this question, and after a certain period of time no one has answered your question or to your satisfactory. You do have the option to go ahead and provide an answer that you think might be helpful to the community, right, to other students, and then they will then be able to see your answer and upvote it so that you get rewarded. Okay, the very same way that other students might be able to upvote or downvote your this question. And remember that each and every time when they upvote your question, then you will be able to get rewarded or compensate to get rewarded, right? Cool. Okay, so now we are continuing with our demo of asking and answering a question. So I'm about to log in with another account, and then with this account we are going to attempt answering the question that was asked by the previous student, right? So I'll just go ahead and go to the StudyCenter website and I'll sign in, right? So I'll sign in with this user account. Okay, and once I have logged in, I do know that this account has INF214 as part of its modules. So I'll just go ahead to my modules and I'll select INF214. Alright, view the content, and we're still currently busy with past papers, so we'll just head over to past papers. Say for instance maybe this particular student was also just going through the past papers and just want in a spirit to discuss the past paper with other students, and the past paper of interest in this case is semester test, the one which was in 2015. Okay, and then as they're going through the questions, they can see that for section A, question 1, there's one question which has been asked. Okay, and then maybe they might be interested in knowing more about that question, so just go ahead and select. Okay, if you do see this, it's a small bug that we still have. Just go ahead and refresh the page and it should be displayed the right way. Okay, and then there's just a little bit of information. It does tell you the past paper, which is semester test 1, and it tells you that the currently question number that you're currently busy with is for section 1, section A, question 1. Okay, and then now remember that the other account, when they posted the question, they included the title, right? So you can see that there's a title which has been included over here, but then we've limited the number of characters for better formatting so that there's not too much text included in the screen, right? And then the next information that they do have, it shows them that so far there's 0 answers contributed to this question, right? And then I'm sure you can figure out the risk that if there was more than one question for section question number 1, then they'll all be listed here, alright? And then on the far right hand side, it shows them that it was asked by this person, and then they've asked it 18 minutes ago, alright? And then if this person maybe was not interested in answering this question, but rather asking their own questions, they can just go ahead and click on that button, and they'll be taken through that whole process that we just went through, alright? But they're interested in answering this question, so we'll go ahead and select over this on this question. Okay, and then we'll just maybe read this question, and if they would like to see the images that have been uploaded, then they can just select that image, and then we'll show them the image content. If they're satisfied with that, but they're still not happy with, or they do not understand the question rather, then what they can do, they can add a comment. Alright, so just go ahead and add a comment, and maybe they say I am more interested in understanding why you thought the answer was incorrect. Obviously, we'll try to keep it more civil and not ask aggressive or rather sarcastic questions, right? The comment is just a feature which enables you to better understand whoever asked that question, right? And if I go to the other question, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this page. As the other student who has asked this question, then I will be able to ask any question that might have been posed to me, any comment rather that might have been posed to me, and I will see also when it was asked. So this was asked 21 seconds ago. All right. So then you might then, as the author of the question, you might add your comment, and then this comment is just an attempt to help this person so that they give you a correct answer. All right. So let's say maybe you've added a comment, and then the person already understands your question. Then they can go ahead and give you an answer. So this is an answer to your question. Alright. They have the same editor whereby they can upload images, they can do all the things that I've already showed you. They just go ahead and post the question to you. Alright. And then as the author, you will be notified of this question, of the answer that has been provided to you, and you'll just go through it. And if you think that it's correct, then you'll be able to upvote it or downvote it. Alright. And then, but also, as someone who did not author the question, I also have the option to upvote your question or downvote your question. Remember that with an upvote, you get rewarded for the question because it adds more value to the community, and then also your reputation increases as the person who has asked the question. All right. And then whenever they downvote you, you do not get rewarded, but it also does not affect your reputation. All right. So if your reputation was always on 13 points, then when they downvote you, it won't affect your reputation. Your reputation will only be increased, will only be affected if you get upvoted, not when you get downvoted. All right. So it goes one way. We do not decrease it if they feel that you did not put too much effort into that question. Okay. And each and every time people upvote your question, then you will get rewarded for that. Okay. So that's the beauty, and we just try to promote a community where everyone interacts and discusses, collaborates with other students. Alright. Cool. So now I've switched back to the other user, and I'm just gonna go ahead and refresh this page. Alright. And then I can see that this is an answer was posed by this user 2 minutes ago. Okay. And as the person who's the author of this question, I do have an option to either mark this question as correct. Alright. And whenever I mark this question as correct, it will also reward that person, the author of the answer, right? So if I mark it as correct, it will reward it will be marked as correct for everyone to see. But secondly, the author of this answer will also then be rewarded according to the rewarding system, right? I can also mark it as useful or not useful, all right? And also their reputation is also affected by these interactions over here. So the user's reputation is in your hands. Your reputation is in the hands of the community. All right, it has nothing to do with us or the system. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much how the question and answer functionality works in a nutshell. All right, and I can't wait for you to start using it and actually see it being useful for you. Okay, the next video I'm going to show you how the topics part of the module works. See you in the next video.